The character of David from Prometheus may in fact be the best written and portrayed character ever of anything. Like, for me, easily in the top three, like up there with Lex Luthor from Smallville and, of course, Vegeta. That's not a joke, they're both fantastically written and portrayed characters. All of the spoilers for Prometheus, obviously. So David in the film Prometheus is an android who was created by humans. Why? Because they could. And also, he's a slave. Like, on one hand, they're being really heavy-handed with what they're doing in this film, but also, like, a number of people are still just like, no, David's the villain. And I'm like, no, he's a slave who saw an opportunity. No, he's not a good guy. You don't hire Michael Fassbender to play good guys. What is also the best thing ever? Sandwich. So keep in mind, humans created David because they could. So the premise of the film Prometheus is that archaeologists find like some coordinates in a bunch of different places in ancient civilizations. Specifically, it was a number of stars and then the same corresponding stars from a different angle so you could triangulate, you know, where they're coming from or whatever. And like, yeah, no, that's probably how I would have done it as well, but also very contrived. So eventually they end up sending off a space mission to try and track down these coordinates. Now, this film was made during a time when the idea of panspermia, which I hate, was really popular in media. Panspermia being the idea of like, oh, humanity came from like somewhere else, or like the building blocks of life came from somewhere else. I always thought that that wasn't the question that we asked, but whatever. But like all of the people that are in charge of this mission believe that it's going to lead them to whatever created us. Which is stupid, but also like, yeah, that's too much of a coincidence with the start and like different, you know, civilizations that didn't interact. Yeah, no, go check it out, sure. The idea is just like, oh, we're going to find out some meaning to life and like, if we were created, then why did they create us? But here's the thing. Here's the thing about David. Because he was created by humans. And why did they do it? Because they could. And so starts the philosophical conflict. Because David already knows why he was created, but these humans are like going and searching the stars to look for a reason. To look for the reason to life, why they were created, you know, what's their purpose? And he's like, you created me to be your slave. And they're like, haha, David, you're not real. Now, the thing is, David doesn't actually make like a character arc in this film. He hates humans as much at the beginning as, you know, all through the movie. He just has an opportunity. Now, if you rewatch that film, every single interaction that anyone has with David is an insult. They insult him in some way. They don't necessarily mean to because they see him as subhuman. They resent him in his, you know, theoretical near immortality. And they look down at him for not being real or not having a soul. The captain or pilot or whoever even insults like one of the other characters by inferring that she might be a robot and that's why she's like this. And like, again, the entire mission is because, you know, these humans are going out and looking for a reason why they were created, the meaning of life or whatever. In the assumption, this is not a thing that I share, this is not something that I want. If there is a reason to life, I don't want it. Because to make a Rick and Morty reference, what if it's just to pass the butter? Because that's Michael, that's David, sorry. That's Michael Fassbender, his entire character is to pass the butter. We made you, an immortal being, to be our slave. Now, these humans, these fucking hypocritical humans, are going out to try and see if someone can tell them that they're special. They want someone to tell them that they are special. That is what they want. Because they are looking for a reason, someone to tell them, you know, why it is that they exist, the meaning of life. But under the assumption that whatever reason is a good one, that their purpose is somehow worthy in their eyes. They want to be told by the universe or their creators that they are special, all while telling David that he isn't. As soon as he has an opportunity to kill them all, he takes it. Of course he does. They all see him as subhuman. And he knows, as I'm sure we could all probably agree, that if they found out that like these androids were actually capable of more creative thought and were capable of hating and resenting them and would kill them if they had the chance, they would order all of the androids destroyed immediately. I'm not saying that his ultimate decision to like try and kill all humans is like good, but I see how we got there. Like, I'd say watch the film again, like, with an understanding of David's perspective as being, like, not special. When all these people are trying to be, are wanting to find out that they are special, and he's just like, I guess I'll come along because you made me. So then the humans, they find one of the beings that created them, and they confirm that it was, in fact, these things that they are from. And they find one. They find a living one, and the living one doesn't give a fuck about them. He basically hates them. He'd step on them if he could, and he does. And what? But why? Why would you hate us? Why don't you think we're good little boys? And David's like, see? This is you. This is you. You are this guy. You guys suck as much as this guy does. Of course the big fucking guy thinks that they are subhuman or sub whatever he is. In exactly the same way that they see David as subhuman. David gets his head ripped off, but I can imagine the entire time his thing is like, yeah, I figure this is what's gonna happen, yeah. In fact, the final thing that I shall do before my head gets ripped off is appreciate that I got the chance to kill that one guy. But then he ends up surviving and so on, and there's the next movie. That was a very good sandwich. These people went off on a mission to try and find answers as to, why. The big why. The capital letters why. And I feel like there should have been like a montage where it's like, oh, we're going on a mission to find the real reasons as to the meaning of life, and then it should pan over to David, and he's just like, and I guess you created me to carry the fucking bags. Like, the crew is in cryo for like 2 years while David is just watching over them, riding a unicycle and playing basketball or whatever. And he's watching their literal dreams. Their literal dreams. So human. They create him to be their caretaker. If you're not figuring out that this is all about, parents and children. The original Alien films have a lot of themes of like motherhood and also sexual assault. Things like power dynamics and like fear, but in very specific ways. Prometheus is much more about what it means to be and what it means to create. Don't fuck with Fassbender. I don't think that's ever worked out for anyone. All that having been said, I wouldn't necessarily say that I like the film. Like, the whole jump of just like, hey, we found what's ultimately like coordinates to a point in space, hey, we should follow it, this kind of implies that maybe aliens came to Earth at some point. And that's where we're going to find the meaning of life, is I feel very unscientific. I'm all for checking it out. Not me, someone else. Fuck. I understand that there are different kinds of people. So some people are just like, oh, I'd love to go to space. I'm like, fuck that. David is genuinely a perfect character, and I love this kind of pure, cold hatred that he has for humans. I think like my two like favorite kind of like character traits is like a really cold hatred and really tired academics. Give me a scientist that is just fucking exhausted. Anyway, I would say I'm gonna go rewatch the movie, but I'm actually not going to because I don't actually like it that much.